One thing as well is I've noticed there are people saying, well, look, I like GETTR as a platform. It works great, but it's just politics at the moment. I do, and I thought, wow, that was actually a good point. 'Cause, I mean, most of my life is dealing with politics, so I didn't think about it. But for example, like Joe Rogan comes over, but he's got no social aspect to it. I mean, he's a big MMA fan. Why not GETTR MMA?
So funny you should say that. So we have 12 or 13 MMA fighters
Mhm.
that are currently on board.
Mhm.
We have one NBA player,
Mhm.
Enes Kanter Freedom, who's
Yeah.
he's great. He's been nominated now for the Nobel Peace Prize. So
Right.
I don't think they're going to give me a vote, but if I did have a vote, I'd vote for Enes. So he's doing a great job. Andrew Bogut, who was the #1 pick of the
I'm
Milwaukee.
not a sports guy.
Oh, you're
so
not a sports
I don't
guy.
know
Okay.
any of these guys.
We're actually meeting later today with the management team for Tyson Fury.
Right.
So we're trying to move into the boxing space
Yeah.
as well.
So you need a GETTR Sports, like Barstool Sports.
I'm actually meeting with
You're ahead of me on this, eh?
I'm meeting with the McLaren folks this afternoon
I
about
don't know who
possible F1 Formula One
okay.
sponsorship.
Right.
So again, I had lunch on Sunday with Matt Letitia. Only the greatest footballer in UK history,
Right.
which Raheem Kassam, a good friend and former
Yeah, I know
podcast
Raheem.
co-host,
Yeah.
he's like, Jason, he's like, this is like the Larry Bird, of British football,
Yeah.
as if every white guy from America loves Larry Bird. But actually was more of a Magic Johnson fan, but we're going to hopefully put together some kind of partnership or team up with Matt.
Right.
And where I want to go with the platform for people who are more, say, that they don't wake up every day and consider themselves political by nature.
Yeah.
Maybe they're ideologically motivated. Maybe they just, hey, wait a minute, why are you raining on my parade? Why are you stealing my cheese? Why is the government doing this? Or maybe it's just different things about life.
Or maybe they're just sick of woke bullshit.
Yes, but they're not inherently political.
No, exactly.
And so what I'm trying to get is expand. So what I've found is that reaching out to the left and saying we want to get lefties on here, they don't have a reason to leave Twitter or Facebook because they're not being discriminated against. But people who aren't necessarily political in nature, so say people in sports and entertainment, Gina Carano, who's on The Mandalorian, for example, former MMA fighter. So we're really trying to get more sports and entertainment people, pop culture. In fact, I'm in talks with a retired sumo legend in Japan. That's not just because I'm a big guy; it's because it's a popular sport. Although I do have an affinity, because by comparison, I look like Charles Atlas. I'm a model of health and fitness compared to those guys. Although I shouldn't say that before I go there.
Yeah, they'll take you out.
Kick my you know what? Yeah. We're talking with one of the Indian Premier League teams for cricket. And so also, in fact, we're possibly going to sponsor a cricket tournament in Brazil coming up this September, which would check a whole bunch of boxes for us. So to your point, that's where I want to go with it. Right now, the passion, though, isn't kind of that center-right political space, but for us to scale and grow, then it has to become not just politics.
But this is what a friend of mine was saying. He was like, look, just literally get GETTR Sports on there. So it's like a channel you can join or follow or something like that. And that just, produces the content, gets the GETTR sports stars who are on the platform to just, give some input, because I'm sure they'd love to,
It's I'll tell you the reason, I shouldn't say it's slow going, because it's actually moving ahead of pace. It's a lot of one-on-one meetings. It's a lot of sit down and kick the tires. Look, a lot of these folks, take like a Matt Letitia, for example. He's someone of the greatest British football player of all time. He's going to sit down with the CEO and make sure, okay, I want to have a sense of where you're going, what your business mindset is, what your moderation mindset is, because they don't want to attach their name to something that they think might fail, or find out that, hey, these guys are a bunch of whack jobs or something like that. Same with like the McLaren people. They want to sit down and sit across the table for you and say, okay, do I feel like I know this person? Are they going to be good partners? So it's a lot of those types of meetings because these people have their own brands.
Yeah.
I can't blame them for that.
Oh no, it's totally reasonable. But a friend of mine was just pointing out that, look, you need to give people like the Joe Rogans, who are not always talking about politics, a reason to be using the platform outside of politics. And that's a great point. So anyway.
In fact, the one thing I will say even is that we thought we had a deal for the recent Jake Paul fight. We thought we had a deal to have the GETTR logo on the shorts.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't say that we had a verbal yes, but we had a verbal, or, kind of likely. And then someone on his team killed it at the last minute.
Oh, right.
But no, I mean, that's it. I've even gotten to the point of doing the research to where you got to put it on the shorts or on the ring. So that way on replays going forward, your name keeps popping back up. So it's just kind of the nuances of sports marketing. So we're trying.
I don't know anything about it, but like broadcasting sports games to the platform on the live system, I mean, it seems like a winner to me. But anyway, so let's finish up by talking about Well, what I guess is the controversial, but completely, I have no idea what the truth about the funding for GETTR is, because you hear people saying Chinese billionaire. You think, okay, well that's a bit odd, and there's a lot, I think, of misinformation. So would you like to tell us exactly how this is, what the situation is? Where's the funding come from? Who are the people funding? So people can be like, okay, that makes sense, and that's either trustworthy or not trustworthy.
Yeah. So GETTR is funded initially by two international investment funds, one based here in the UK in London, another one based just outside of New York. And the one that's based here in London is allied with, not run or controlled by, but allied with a family foundation of Miles Guo. Miles Guo is a Chinese billionaire who is now seeking political asylum in the United States.
Right.
He does not have any financial interest or management role within the company. So
Right.
literally not one penny. He is most notable in that he's basically dedicated his entire life to take down the CCP. In fact, I'll tell you a couple of things here. He literally has had a song go to #1 on Apple iTunes called "Take Down the CCP." So
Right.
it's Midnight Oil, or Men at Work, with their hit song, Men at Work, or whatever the case. But it's take down the CCP. But Miles is obviously someone who's an ideological ally, someone who's a supporter of GETTR, but he does not have a penny in it. It's two international investment funds who've done the funding.
To watch the full video, please become a premium member at lotuseaters.com.